We'll continue our discussion on syntax. So in the last class, we talked about constituency grammars or phrase structure grammars. And we very briefly looked at CKY parsing as a type of bottom-up parsing algorithm. Today, I will get into a little more detail about CKY parsing so you understand how to apply it. And then we will go on to dependency parsing. So let me share my screen. Okay, you can see my screen, right? So in the CKY algorithm, which I will just discuss in a little more detail. So you take you have a sentence here, and you take a matrix. As we said that given a sentence, we want to find out what are the constituents for different phrases in the sentence. So by a phrase, we mean a continuous subsequence of the sentence. Can you see my pen? I think I cannot write. Okay, so you see, so if you get this sentence, suppose the positions of the words are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or in general from 1 to n. So a particular subsequence can be defined by I, j, where j is greater than equal to I. So 1, 1 comprises the first word book. 1, 2 is the phrase book the. 1, 4 is book the flight through. Similarly, 2, 3 is the flight, and so on. So you can find out the different subphrases, right? And you can define this upper triangular matrix so that the cells in the matrix correspond to the different subphrases. Okay, is this clear to you? Why I cannot write. Let me just try to get this up again because my pen is not being visible. I don't know why it has come here, but it was not true. And now it's coming. Okay, so corresponding, as I said, if I consider a cell like this, so what does it correspond to? It corresponds to, suppose we have, here W1, W2, W3, W4, W5. This corresponds to W2, W4. That is the phrase W2, W3, W4. And what does this corner cell correspond to? It corresponds to the entire sentence, right? Now, what we are going to do in CKY parsing, we are trying to find out for every cell what constituents can the cell correspond to. And we will look at the algorithm, but just as an example, let us say that this corresponds to this cell 3, 5. Okay, or 2, 5, if you start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you look at this, so it corresponds to the phrase flight through Houston. And flight through Houston, if you put nominal in this cell, that means in your grammar, nominal can derive flight through Houston. Similarly, if you have S in the cell, we can say from S, you can derive the entire sentence. Or if you have VP in the cell, you can say that from VP, you can derive the entire sentence. Okay? So for every cell, we put a list of the constituents which we can achieve from the grammar. And this is the algorithm. We'll come back to this algorithm. But before, let us understand this. suppose, so our objective is given a sentence. I've written the sentence as A, B, C, D, E, F corresponding to the words. Each of them is a word. Now, this sentence is a nested phrase structure, right? The tree, we can write it as a nested phrase structure. So at the top level, we have to, at the root of the tree, you imagine that our grammar is written such that on the left-hand side, there is a non-terminal or constituent, and on the right-hand side, there are exactly two symbols. Now, you may say that my grammar may have may have one symbol, two symbols, three symbols, etc. Now, it is possible for you to rewrite the grammar so that it contains two symbols. And we'll not get into the details, but suppose you have a rule like this. Suppose you have a rule saying that VP goes to X, Y, Z. Now, you can rewrite this as VP goes to X, X1, and X1 goes to YZ. Okay? So this particular set of two rules will be equivalent to saying that VP goes to XYZ. Right? So we can rewrite the grammar so that there are two symbols on the right-hand side, so that our grammar becomes uniform. Now, if the grammar is uniform, at the root, we should be able to decompose the entire sentence into two subsequences. And how many ways we can do it? We can have, so now we have 6 words in the sentence. We can have 1 to 1 as the first component and 2 to 6 as the remaining component. Or we can have 1, 2 as the first component, 3, 6 as the second, or 1, 3 as the first, 4, 6 as the second, and so on. So this can be done in 5 ways. So in 5 ways, we can decompose 6 symbols into 2 phrase structures. Now, so what we want to do, so for each of these ways, that means, if we are starting from the I, so if I say that I plus 1 means the word I, so we can go from I plus 1 to J minus 1 to find out all decompositions. So out of all these decompositions, we want to find that decomposition which is optimal in some way, or which we, in our case, there is no case of optimality, for which we can derive what we can get. So there are these K minus ways to split a phrase containing K words. Okay, so for example, suppose we take this cell. Now, can you tell me which phrase this cell corresponds to? This green cell, to which phrase does it correspond to?
The position.
No, which part of the sentence, which words?
Book the flight through.
Book the flight through. It corresponds to book the flight through. Now, this phrase C14 corresponds to book the flight through, and we want to find out all non-terminals which can come here. Now, in our search for non-terminal, we will see in how many ways we can decompose 1, 4. So this is one decomposition, 1, 3, and 4, 4. So 1, 3 corresponds to this cell, and 4, 4 corresponds to this cell, right? What is the second decomposition? So the first decomposition is 1, 3, 4, 4. What is the second decomposition?
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, which corresponds to this cells. This is 1, 2, and this is 3, 4. Okay, what is the third one?
1, 1, and 2, 4.
1, 1, and 2, 4. So this is 1, 1, and this is 2, 4. So these are the three decompositions. These are the three decompositions possible. Okay. Now, so if we can get all these three decompositions, that is, if we can get the values of these 6 cells, then we can fill up the cell C14. So we are going to fill up all the cells, and we have to fill up the cells in the order so that before we fill up a cell, all the cells whose value it depends on must be filled up. Okay. Now, we will use in computer science, those of you who have done an algorithm course, you know that there is a paradigm of algorithms called dynamic programming. So dynamic programming is an efficient method to deal with problems where they have different sub-problems which may be overlapping. And the trick is that you first solve the sub-problems, then the other problem which depends on the sub-problems, and you do not solve the same sub-problem more than once. So if we apply dynamic programming here, we want to have an order, the order in which we fill up the cells. The order in which we fill up the cells must be such that before we come to a cell, all the cell from which we can derive that, they must be already computed. So can you suggest me an order in which we can fill up the cells?
First the diagonal, then starting from the second cell to the right of the...
No, wait, let me see. So first the diagonal. Let me just put numbers. 1, 2.
Then you can do the 1, 2 cell. And then you can move diagonally downwards.
7, 8, 9, 10. This is an order, you are correct. This is an order in which we can fill up the cells so that we ensure that when we come to a cell, all its dependents are filled up. Now, you know, this is a very good way of filling up the cells. So we can see that this diagonal, the first main diagonal, corresponds to single word phrases. The second diagonal corresponds to 2 word phrases. This corresponds to 3 word phrases. This to 4 word phrases, and this to 5 word phrases. So this is a very good way of filling up this table. But this way is not unique. There are other ways in which you can fill up so that the dependencies are met. So another way, you know, there's nothing better or worse here. Another way to fill up is first you fill up 1, then 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And you can convince yourself that for both these orderings, this one and this one, we ensure that when we fill up a cell, all its dependents are already filled. There could be other ways, but these are 2 major ways in which you can proceed. Now, this algorithm that we are talking about, before we proceed, let me just tell you the name of the algorithm, the CKY. Some people also write it as CYK. And this is based on the names of 3 people, Kokke, Younger, and Kasami. So this is the Kokke, Younger, Kasami algorithm, or Kokke, Kasami, Younger algorithm. So this was actually published by Sakai in 1961. So this is a dynamic programming based bottom-up parsing algorithm by John Kokke, Daniel Younger, and Tadao Kasami. Now, let us take this concrete example for this sentence, book the flight through Houston, and let us consider this grammar. And this is the similar grammar that we looked in the last class, but we have rewritten the grammar so that on the right-hand side, we do not have more than 2 symbols. And yeah.
And this method will only work if there are only 2 productions, I mean 2 symbols in the production, right?
No. So as I said, suppose there's a production, say S goes to W, Y, Z. Okay. I can now rewrite it as S goes to x1z and x1 goes to wy. So by adding some additional non-terminals, I can convert any rule which has more than 2 symbols on the right hand side to rules which has no more than 2 symbols on the right hand side. Is this okay? Because we want to simplify our algorithm so that we can only split into 2 phrases. And so in order to simplify our algorithm, so we convert the rules. If a rule has more than 2 symbols on the right hand side, we convert it into 2 or more rules so that each one of them has no more than 2 symbols on the right hand side. Right? For example, in the original grammar, there was this production S goes to Ox NP-BP. So instead of this, we have now rewritten this into this. I request you to be on mute when you are not talking. So this rule S goes to Ox NP-BP. We have rewritten as these two rules. Yes, one of you has to turn, you have to put yourself on mute. Maybe Sachin Verma, please put yourself on mute. Okay, so is this clear that if you have any arbitrary production, you can rewrite it to a set of productions having no more than two symbols on the right hand side? Have you understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
So we can proceed. Now, so what we are going to do is that we are going to, take each of the cells and we are going to put the list of non-terminals from which we can derive the corresponding phrase. For example, if you take this cell 1, 1, so 1, 1, as you know, is a word. And because we have a rule which says VP goes to book. So 1, 1 is also a VP. We also have a rule which says wait, let me just see. S goes to book. So we can put S also here, right? And we also find out that book is a noun. So we can put noun here, and we find a rule which says nominal goes to book. So we can put nominal here. So given this grammar, we can find out all the non-terminals from which we can derive book, either directly, here we are deriving them directly, or we can derive them, so in all these 4 cases, we are deriving them directly, but let us see, yeah. So in all these cases, we are deriving them directly, right? And sometimes you can derive them by a application of another rule. Suppose we did not have VP goes to book, but we had a rule saying VP goes to verb, right? Now that we have found that book is a verb, and because we have a rule VP goes to verb, then we can put VP here. But this grammar we have converted into normal form so that the right hand side we have exactly 2 non-terminals or a single terminal. So we have rewritten this grammar and therefore we have this rules. Now if you consider this cell, here we have this word the phrase the, and we find that there is a rule det goes to the. So we have put det here and we cannot find anything else. For flight, we can find it is noun and nominal. And then if we go to this cell, we can see that this cell corresponds to the flight. and the is determiner, flight is nominal or noun. So we now look for production rules whose right-hand side is either determiner nominal or determiner noun. Can we find such a rule? There is this rule which says NP goes to determiner nominal. Therefore, here we put NP. Okay. Suppose we come to this cell where we have this phrase book the. So book can be S, VP, verb, nominal, noun, and the can be determiner. So we try to find a rule S determiner, VP determiner, verb determiner, nominal determiner, noun determiner on the right hand side. No such rule exists. So we put a none here. Is this clear? Is this clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, so when I come here, I want like to, suppose we say book, these arrows are all messed up. Suppose I come here. Now I want to look at, this can decompose into book. That is this and the flight, this and this, or book the and flight, right? So if you look at book and the flight, so book is a verb phrase and the flight is a noun phrase. So we can say that this VP, NP, this verb and noun phrase goes to verb phrase. So we can put a verb phrase here. This is done. So we can put a noun phrase here. So similarly, we can go on doing this. And as we have seen that we can fill up in this order or the diagonal order, and whichever order you fill up, you will get the same thing. So here we have got already, we have seen how to get this. We have seen how to get this. We have seen how to get this. Flight, we have got nominal noun, and determiner nominal gives us noun phrase. And we saw that we have got VP here because this is a verb and this is a noun phrase. We also, have S here because why do we have S here? Can you tell me why do we have S here?
Verb and noun phrase. Because S points to verb and noun phrase as well. So
S points to verb and noun phrase. So we have a verb and noun phrase. So we also put S here. Okay. So we have now filled up these first three columns. And then we come to the fourth column. So through is preposition. And flight through, we find out there's nothing with nominal preposition or noun preposition. So we put a none. Similarly, here we try all the possibilities. The two possibilities are there none. Here also we find none. So all of them, these are all none. Then I come to the last column. So Houston is a proper noun. It's also a noun phrase. Then through Houston we find to be a PP. And then a flight through Houston is a nominal, which we get from nominal, this rule nominal PP. And then the flight through Houston we get as NP. By which rule? How do we get this as NP? So can you tell me how do we decompose this as NP?
determinant
Determiner and what?
nominal.
Yeah, determiner, nominal. That is one way. Or I'm not sure. We have also NP here and PP here. Okay. So it can be the flight through Houston or the flight through Houston. Two ways we can get it here. And then here we get different non-terminals. We get VP, we get S, and there are multiple ways in which we can get S. Here there are multiple ways we can get noun phrase. There are multiple ways you can get S, multiple ways you can get VP. Can you tell me what are the different ways? One way of getting S is through this. How do you get it?
Verb and noun phrase.
So verb and noun phrase. Any other way? Any other way you can get? So you can also get it as VP as VP and PP.
Yes.
And S also as VP and PP. So we have also as VP AP. So both these rules we can get this S. So there are two ways we can get S, and they may correspond to two different parse trees. Okay, and we have to fill up all possibilities here. So this is the parse tree number 1 for this sentence, where S decomposes into VP and PP. VP goes to verb and NP, and from NP we get determiner, nominal. And then this is PP goes to prep NP. This is the first parse tree. There's a second way, which is parse tree number 2. S goes to verb NP, where book is a flight, book is a verb, and the flight through Houston is a noun phrase which can be further decomposed. Now, what we do is that whenever we fill up a symbol at a cell, right? When I fill up a symbol here, for each symbol, I keep the back pointers. How did we get this? We got it through verb and NP. And if we get it to two different rules, we record them, right? For every time we fill up a value in a cell, we record from which cells we are getting and by which rule. And we can get VP by multiple rules. We can get NP here multiple rules. And both these decompositions we write down. Here also we write down. Now corresponding, what we want to know, finally, if the sentence is a correct sentence, we must have an S here. And that S, there may be one derivation or more than one derivation. For each derivation, we have the back pointers. And following the back pointers, suppose we have S goes to SNP. Now this NP, again we have back pointers to find out different ways we have got this NP. And by following these back pointers, we can have the parse tree for this sentence. Okay. Now to summarize, this is our algorithm. So we have what is the input? The input is the words. Words is the sequence of words and the rules of the grammar. This is the parser takes as input and returns this table. The table that we saw. This table is what is returned. Now, how does this algorithm work? As we saw that we have to, we have to fill up the table following a particular systematically, and we discussed two ways of doing it. This shows the way where we fill up column by column. Right? So from 1 to length of words 2, that is from each column. Then for that column, for each entry, we first fill up those A which come from the grammar, and then we find out all decompositions of that phrase from I to j minus 2. That k goes to I plus 1 to j minus 1. So we find out that table entries ik and the table entries kj. Suppose table entry ik has a symbol which is included in B and table kj has a symbol which is included in C. Then we try to see in our grammar, is there a rule of the form A goes to BC? If such a rule is there, then A is included in the table. Right? So this is the way in which we write down the parser. Okay. So is the algorithm clear to you? So this is the exercise that you should be doing to convince yourself you can do the algorithm. Take a sentence, take a grammar, simple set of grammar rules, and try to fill up the tables. Okay. Any questions? Is this clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Then we can proceed.